Hey, it's Donna Rudowitz, and so glad to be here with you today. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the path to success and fulfillment. I believe that this month, especially this month, in the month of December, where I feel and believe it's one of the most mystical and magical months we have, this is a perfect time to double down on what it is that we really want, to double down on what is the dreams that we are going after. What are the outcomes that we've set on this journey and path to achieve? Right? What are those journeys? What is those paths? What is that outcome? So the path to success and fulfillment, which is a dream which we could write down, but what I want to sort of put on the piece of paper here, or to put as a seed of thought in your realm of just awareness, is that your path to success is first laid out in your mind, right? It's first laid out in your inner terrain of consciousness. So what do I mean by that? Nothing can be manifested, nothing can be created, nothing can be shown in our world of being unless we have thought about it first, unless in our brain and our mind we have thought about exactly what it is we want. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but have you ever gotten to a point where you could just be sitting somewhere thinking about your future or thinking about the day, and then out of nowhere, something just miraculously drops in your mind? It could be an inspiration. It could be a thought. It could be a nudge to go call a friend. It could be to pick up a book or to go this direction, right? Those are those little nudges. And those little nudges are what I call God winks. So those are what I believe to be, and not only just believe to be, but through science, what they have shown us to be is the stream of consciousness, right? So that's our connection to the divine. And the struggle that most of us will have is we're so used to living in the world and being surrounded by what the world has for us and the problems and the challenges of the day, that we lose sight of just how connected we really are. And that even though we feel we may be off of our path, or we feel we're sad, or we feel that we're lonely, or we feel there's loss of hope, again, that's only a feeling, right? So feelings are not facts. What the fact is that we are divinely connected to source. We have access to source every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We never really are alone, even though we feel we're alone. So when we get those little bouts of ideas or those God winks that are just kind of dropping in our head, that's an opportunity for you to say, wow, I'm seeing things and I'm hearing things, and I don't know if this is what I should do or what I shouldn't do, but I'm just going to be aware. I'm just going to have tea with this thought for a little bit. And then you get the opportunity to create and to dream, because what your dreams, what you're creating in your mind, will then be expressed onto the canvas of your physical reality. And the reason why so many people don't manifest what they want, well, number one, there may not be enough focus on it, right? So it may be just a thought. And then that thought of, let's say we want to attract our ideal soulmate. So the thought comes in, I want to attract my ideal soulmate. And you get that inspired thought. The next thing you know, there's other thoughts that I call the thieves of joy. Those are the little thieves of the night that are coming in, and they're taking that inspired thought and they're just knocking it down every way till Sunday. There's no way you could do that. You saw what you did in the past. You saw what happened to you. You saw where you've come from. That's not going to be possible to you, right? So this is where so many people, they don't wobble, they actually veer off the side of the road. They have the inspired thought, and then those thieves of joy thoughts come through. They take them off track, and then they never follow through in going after what it is they want. So my gift to you today is to give you what I believe could be one of the most important pieces of guidance that I could give you. And number one, that is your mindset, and to be aware of where your energy, your mindset, and frequency is operating on a daily basis, because your mindset is the beginning, is the birthing place of your dream. So we want to be in the healthiest mindset we could be. And if you're not there now, it's okay. You don't have to badger yourself. You don't have to criticize yourself. You could just notice and become aware that my mindset may not be where I need it to be. But the greatest piece of advice in combination with a mindset is staying the course. What we focus on, we will bring about. Now, many times, if you happen to be like me, I want things to be created as of yesterday. So if I decide I want something and I'm ready for it today, I want to have this, and why don't I have it already? Well, or I should have had it yesterday. So for me, a patience muscle is something that took me some time to develop, and I'm still developing it. Because when we think about our dreams and our desires, if they're not showing up in the time frame that we want them to be, well, that could be a path for us to sort of go back to old patterning and old behaviors and say, well, see, it didn't happen, and this is not going to happen for me. And that's not true. That's a story we're telling ourselves. Some things you're going to be able to see and manifest immediately, and other things may take a little time. But either way, staying the course, the most successful people and the people who are achieving what it is they want, stay the course. So even through the wobbles that you're going to be having, what we do here at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond is we leave it as just that. Our mindset, and when we're sort of off course, those are what we consider to be wobbles. Those are just momentary lapses of our mindset not being in the right place. But then we pick ourselves up, we get into our energy, mindset, and frequency. We double down on our gratitude. We double down on our at least 50 reasons why I'm amazing. We look at what my soundtrack of awesome is. We listen to the music. We figure out what is going to increase our vibrational level of frequency, right? We get our body moving again. Here's something that's fascinating. Nothing is opposed upon you from an external source. So let me rephrase that, or let me repeat it. Nothing is imposed upon you from an external source. Everything arises first in your mind. Right? So everything that you see and everything that you observe and everything that you interact with is the embodiment of the patterns of information that you've aligned yourself with through all of your belief systems, about the definitions about who you are, about what you're making your relationships mean, and what your world is, right? So your mindset precedes your interpretation and interaction with reality. So no one is ever doing anything to you. Right? Nothing is happening against you. It's our own mind and our own patterns and belief systems that we've aligned with that are creating either our bliss or creating our prison. Now, yes, people will say things that will hurt you. Yes, you will be going through experiences that will devastate you. And at the same time, just as the experiences that devastate you, there are experiences that will bring you to the highest places of bliss you could possibly be. Right? Just as if we could create sorrow in our life, guys, I want you to be really, really aware that we could create joy in our life. Just where we created heartache in our life, we could create heart connection. We just need to know how. And that's what we do here. Right? I'm going to teach you how to take those old thought patterns, rehearsed patterns that are in your mind, and we're going to replace them with now new patterns that serve you. And when we could loosen these very rigid belief systems that we have, when we could loosen them or neutralize them and eventually release them, our path to success and our path to dream and our path to joy, now that path becomes clear and unobstructed. Right? If you could let go, I want you to think about this. If you were to let go of your mindsets, right? If you were to let go of the mindsets that you have, you would find yourself operating in ways where you can imagine, you could express, and you could act without reservation or the inkling of impossibility. because the only thing that you would have is your connection to joy. The only thing that you would have is your desired end and your ability to get there. So let me give you an example. When you wake up in the morning and you look in your refrigerator and you see that your refrigerator is empty, you have an inkling that God wink that comes into your brain that says, I need to run to the supermarket. I need to get eggs, bread, and milk. You get in your car or you take a walk, you go to the supermarket, you come home, you put the eggs, bread, and milk away, all is well. For 1 minute, you don't freak out about the supermarket. You don't think that the supermarket has always been such a horrible place to go and that there's never going to be anything. And oh my gosh, how are you going to get there? And will you make it there? Will you make it home? Is there even a possibility that the supermarket is going to be there? And are you worthy enough to walk into the supermarket? You don't even think about that. You just have a natural belief system and a natural tendency to, it doesn't even, there's no struggle there. You just assume you're going to go to the supermarket. You believe it to be there. You know the food's going to be there. You get it and you come home. There's no struggle. It's the same. We can apply that same principle. The only reason why we face struggles in our lives with relationships and finances and love and even the love towards ourselves is because we have these predefined constructs that have given us the framework that relationships are hard, or that we're unlovable, or that finding love is hard, or that we can't have what we want because we're not that type of person, or that we have to go through all these obstacles before we have to get there. But according to who, right? According to who has made up these constructs and principles? And guess what, guys? You know who has? You. Right? Everything is created in your mind first. Whatever you want in the world, you could have. Whatever you want to do in this world, you could do. Whatever you want to be in the world, you can be. And all that you already see that's expressed in the world, you could express in your own life and more. Right? If you could think it, there's a saying that says, if you could think it, you could achieve it. And you could expand your mind as big as the desired end you want to make pass and make that desired outcome reachable and containable, right? You have two choices here. One, you could contract your mind to be such a small space that there's no way that you're ever going to reach your goal, that your desired end will be unreachable because you've contracted your own space. On the other hand, you could expand your mind. So whatever it is that you want to achieve is reachable. It's within your own mind that the rules to your fulfillment are set. And so it is within your own mind that they could be cleared. There's a quote that I absolutely love that I think is fabulous. And it says, you can go against anything in the world and succeed if you're not having to go against yourself in the process. Everything that you need to achieve what it is your heart is giving you to achieve is already within you. Every single one of you already have within herself the same inner forces to bring about any desired end. God is no respecter of persons. So when you look at someone with relationships or a house or travel, there's no difference between her and you. You have within you to reach whatever goal your heart is giving you, right? God does not give you a desired goal only to say, nope, you can't have it. And if you, what I kind of also think is that when we're in a sleep state, right? When we're in a meditative state, we don't think about success and fulfillment. We don't think about what we have and what we don't have. When we're in that meditative state, we're sort of at a peaceful state. It's only when we're in active wakefulness and the perception that someone has something or we have, and they, the haves and the have-nots, right? We only are in that state when we're in that conscious state. This is the gift, guys, because 5% of our state of being is conscious. 95% of our state of being is subconscious. So once we understand that there's a process and there's a formula here, we understand that in order to really create, in order to tap into our divine self, in order to create our goals and moving forward, we need to tap into that subconscious state and begin to take the power back and to begin to create those patterns of thoughts that are going to propel us forward and not drag us back. Who you are and who you think you are is only a superimposed vision of yourself. You are beyond any imagination of what you think your value is worth. You are so far beyond that. You are so creative. You are so beautiful. You are so wonderful. And your limited me space in your brain, that's what keeps us separated, isolated, and independent, and feeling like we have to play this game of life all by our lonesome selves. And that's so not true. Your most important asset is to begin to recognize and aware these little games that you're participating in, you know, the feelings that you're feeling, not changing them, not making them wrong or right, bad or good, but just noticing the games that you're playing of when you feel connected and when you don't, and what are your belief systems on certain things. Do you believe that what's possible for you? Do you believe that things are possible? Do you believe that things aren't possible? Right? There's patterns and there's experiences here. Everything that you see, everything that we are energy. And this is where science comes in, because this isn't about woo-woo. This isn't about religion. This isn't about this is what Donna says. No, this is about science. We are all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed nor created. It's just transformed. We are vibrational levels of energy and frequency, and we are made up by water. And if you've ever seen the water experiments, that's where if you talk a certain way to water or a plant, you see that plant thrive. And when you talk a certain way to water, you see the crystals in the water and you see the plant not thrive. Everything is sound. Everything in this world is vibration. Everything is patterns within patterns of intelligent energy. And there's many patterns of success and joy and love, as there are points of consciousness, which means that's infinite, right? Do you see this vast playground that you have to play in? Are you even just kind of thinking, maybe just a little bit, raising that eyebrow, wondering just how much creative access and power that you have, but really never knew, that you never knew what was really available to you? Because I think this way. I'm thinking to myself, wow, I've been playing in such a small playground. That there's this over these past few years, there's this spark of recognition of that there is success in me. I am success. I am love, as are you. And now this is your opportunity to tap into this understanding of vibrational frequency, of understanding patterns within patterns of intelligent energy. And you don't have to understand it. You don't have to know the reason why it works. Just like when you go into a room to turn on the light, you don't wonder how it's wired and how the electrician wired it and why we have electricity. You don't wonder that. You just know, you go in the room, you put on the light and you get light. This is the same thing. You don't have to understand why it's happening or the understand of vibration. You just know that it's there and it's proven. So now we get to work with it. So just as we could create, again, that pain and sorrow, we could create the joy and the peace. And what I really want you to do over this next week is look at, where do my ideas of my success and joy, of what I consider to be a good life, right? Where do those ideas come from? Where do my mental pictures of my success look like come from? Where do my experiences for what success and fulfillment, where do they come from? Did I create them? Did I adapt them from the world around me? Or did I download them from source code? Did I get them divinely? These blueprints of success, were they patterns of success that I tapped into spirit, that I tapped into my divine guidance, that I tapped into the quieting of the mind and getting centered in my heart? these patterns of success that weren't formed in my fields of consciousness, or have they been formed in my very, very limited field of consciousness? Right? We have these things called source codes and command codes. And so everything that we know about what's good in this world and what's not good in this world is coming from our source and command codes. It's like a computer, right? When you turn on the computer, you could command the computer to do what you need it to do. It's the same thing with our brains. We have these source codes, and I think it's fascinating to look at. Are we operating in a code of the world and the constructs of what we've been taught? And are we operating on the world of what we've been fed? Or are we operating in a world from code where we're tapping into infinite consciousness? And even though you may not fully understand this now, and even though you maybe see, Donna, I don't understand this whole thing about source codes and success blueprints, what I will tell you is that your connection to consciousness, your connection to your divine self, when you tap into it and when you get into that space, your success can be sort of downloaded. You don't have to figure things out. It becomes easy. Life doesn't become hard anymore. Now, am I saying it's without challenges and without troubles? No. But we're no longer in that victimhood where we're stepping into our superhero, not our supervillain. And when you're in flow, you have only options. There are no limitations. There are no set formulas. There's no perceptions of what it needs to be. You have at your disposal the ability to tweak and define your parameters of what your experiences are. And this is what I call the muggle world area, because people around us, you will begin to notice that you will be operating differently. You are thinking differently. You are working in this world differently. And you will begin to notice that you're operating at a very different energy level. And the people around you, you're going to see just how stuck people are in patterns of fear and worry and doubt and not enough and lack. And what if this path, right? This journey that you're on, this path to your dream, what if it could be filled with sustainable magic, recurring miracles, endless synchronicity, and limitless creative awe every step of the way? Could your experiences of success and fulfillment in every single thing that you do be filled and saturated with such magic, awe, and wonder? Is that a possibility? Right? Is that a possibility you're open to? We're so used to our journey being tough and hard and arduous. But you have the power to create it where it doesn't have to be that way, where you have the opportunity to be abound by miracles, connected to synchronicities, in awe every step of the way. That it's easy. When we think about the power that we have, there's a question I'm going to leave you with today, and that is, how easy or hard do you think it was for this living consciousness universe to have unfolded itself as boundlessly as it has all around you, right? How hard do you think that it was for God to create this universe? You think it was painful and hard and horrible and terrible? Or did it unfold in a way that was divine, that there was no other way that it could have unfolded? That's what I want you to ponder. Because our source codes in the past may have been attached to pain and sorrow and not enough. But our source codes now, we get to attach to ease, to joy, to success. And you get to choose these ingredients. You get to choose the ingredients in your own unique recipe of success. right? You get to now look at the patterns that you could use in order to create this recipe. You no longer are bound to the thoughts, the beliefs, and the feelings of other people. You're no longer bound to what your ex says about you. You're no longer bound to what someone has stole from you. You're no longer bound to those childhood wounds that have kept you prisoner for so long. But you've got to first begin by shining the light of your awareness of the templates you've been operating from up until this point, and choosing to step into awakened awareness, right? Choosing to redo these blueprints, choosing to rewrite them completely, right? Or create new ones altogether. Some of these blueprints we just need to get out. And bottom line is, you have options, you have support, you have choices. You are never, ever left with absolutely no choice. And your journey doesn't need to have obstacles and challenges for it to be a worthwhile trip. That's just what we've been taught. In order for something to be worthwhile, we have to come out bruised at the other end. But guess what, guys? We don't. And if you stopped interpreting your of it being a challenge, right, of what you're going through, if you stopped interpreting it as an obstacle or a challenge, then what does the thing actually become? If you drop the constructs from your vocabulary that what you're facing is an obstacle or a challenge, then what does it become? These questions are what are worth just pondering on a little bit and thinking a little bit about. And asking yourself the question, will I allow myself to learn and grow through curiosity and play and exploration? Can my learning and growth unfold outside of my problems and solutions? Are challenges necessary for my expansion of consciousness? Or can my expansion unfolding into my best self, could it be fluid? Could it be flexible? Could it be relaxed? And how satisfying and fulfilling that would be. And what ingredients do I have in my blueprint? Are obstacles and challenges key ingredients up until this point in my definition of what a success journey entails? Whatever you believe to be valid and true is going to show up in your life. So if you believe that you have a hard knock life, you're going to have a hard knock life. What you believe will insert itself into your everyday experience. You could change the rules at any time. You could repattern at any time. There's different realms that have been proven, right? Different realms of the universe that we know, right? That's why they say 3D reality and three dimension, 4D, 5D reality. But in every level of reality, in every sphere of consciousness, you are unstoppable. You don't need to obliterate any boundaries or bust loose from any chains. You only need to recognize that there aren't any boundaries or chains to begin with. This is your chance this year, working here with us and your continued growth. This is your chance. We are leaving nothing out. We're going to get very clear and honest about what you believe success to be. And we're going to tap into all areas of your life and your mindset, health, fitness, friends, family, love, personal development, creativity, spirituality. We're tapping in everywhere. But I want to read this to you again. In all levels of reality, in every sphere of consciousness, you are unstoppable. You don't need to obliterate any boundaries or bust loose from any chains. You only need to recognize there aren't any boundaries or chains to begin with. How freeing does that make you feel? I don't know about you, but man, I feel incredibly free from that statement. So with that said, that brings us to the close of today's training call. So I sure hope that there was bits and pieces that you picked up that allowed you to maybe see things in a different way, to maybe experience something in a different way, and some things just to munch on your mind for your continued mindset. But my guidance to you is continue to work on your EMF, your energy, your mindset, and your frequency, because your life and what unfolds in front of you all begins with you. You are the flower, you are the seed, and everything unfolds from you. So with that said, I will see you guys later. Have a kick-ass rest of the day, and I'll see you guys soon. Love ya. Bye.